Welcome back, guys and girls. My name is Coxie and this is going to be part 24 in our FPS tutorial series, and today we're going to be following on with our door theme, and we're going to be making it so that we can interact with locked doors using keycards. So the door will actually be able to recognize what type of lock it has, and the key card will be able to recognize the door type, and then if you have the right key card to open that door, then you'll be able to unlock it. So it's going to be a pretty involved tutorial today, and we're going to be using some code that we've never really used before that I can remember in any of my tutorials. So please pay attention and watch the video the whole way through. Don't skip anything, because you'll most definitely miss something, and you'll get errors in your code and it won't work, okay? So please keep that in mind, and let's get started. So we're going to be using some enums today, and we're also going to be using a couple of switch statements as well, I think. And yeah, it's just some stuff that I've never used in the tutorials before. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with enums and switch statements, but if you aren't, then yeah, this will be something really good for you to learn something new. And if you've already used them in the past, well, hopefully you can still learn something pretty cool from this tutorial. So what I want to do is, first of all, I want to go to our scripts. I want to go into the player scripts and open up the pickup script. And this is the script that we made in a tutorial not too long ago, where we actually have an array that comes out of the player that sort of checks for different items that we can pick up. And if you haven't watched that tutorial, you'll need to go ahead and watch that tutorial first. I don't recommend you try to do this tutorial without watching the pickup system tutorial, okay? So how we've got it at the moment, I've just basically put everything in the update function, and we first of all shoot out our array, and it comes out about 5 meters, I think our pickup distance is, and it checks for game objects that are actually on the pickups layer which we made. And if it's on the pickups layer, then it will check the tag of that game object, and if it's pistol ammo, we'll be able to pick up the pistol ammo, and if it's the health pack, we'll be able to pick up the health pack. Now this is all well and good. We could keep just saying, you know, else if, do the next one, and we could have a tag for keys, and then else if, and do the next one. We could have a tag for, you know, some kind of different ammunition or different weapon ammunition, or whatever. We could just keep going and going, and that'll work, but it's not really the best way to go about it. We can do it a lot neater and have the code a lot more efficient, and that's what we're going to actually do. So we're going to actually replace from here to here with a switch statement, and what we're going to need to do this is just to add one more variable to our variables up here. So if you just go underneath the audio source, we can simply just do a string. So it's a private string, because if you don't have anything in front of the actual variable, it's just going to be automatically private. You can write private, but I don't do that, as you guys have probably noticed, because I don't really see the point in it myself. If it's going to be public, you just write public, but if not, I don't really want to write private every time, because I know they're private because there's no, you know, there's not public written in front of them. So for me, this is just how I do it. But we can just make a string, and we can call it item tag. So what this is going to do is, when our array shoots out from the player and it hits an item on the pickup layer, we actually want this string, the item tag, to be this. If it's looking at the pistol ammo, we're going to change that string so it actually is pistol ammo. It says pistol ammo spelt exactly like this, and then we can check that in a case statement, and in a switch statement, sorry, and we can do something very similar to this, but a lot better. So all we need to do is, if we come down here, I'll just actually make a new method down here, and we'll just say void check item tag. And what we can say is, well, first of all, what we'll do is we'll actually put here, we'll say item tag equals hit dot transform dot tag, okay? So as I said, we want our string item tag to equal whatever the tag is that we're currently looking at. So if we're looking at the pistol ammo, this would become pistol ammo, okay? So then what we can do is, if I go down here, I can write switch, and once you've written switch and you see it come up here in blue, you can just double tap the tab button like so, and then you'll see you get this little switch statement here, and where it says switch on, we can actually change that to item tag. And then if I click down here in between the two curly brackets, you'll see that it automatically adds a default case, okay? So I don't really need a default case. You can probably take that out, but I'll just leave it there for now. And what we're going to do is, above the default, we can actually say case, and we can say we need to make sure we spell this exactly the same as the tag. So if you just come up here and copy this, okay, and paste it in there. So if it's pistol ammo, and then after the last quotation mark there, we can just do a colon like so, and then underneath this we can just write break and then do a semicolon. So this is very similar to an if statement. So what it's going to do is it's actually going to check this string value against every case that we put here. So just say this has already been turned into the pistol ammo. We're looking at the pistol ammo, and this is basically like saying if the tag is pistol ammo, then whatever we put in here between the case and this break will be the code that it runs if that is true. So it's a very similar thing to if statements, but it is a lot more optimized in the code, and it's just a lot neater and easier to read, and it's perfect for something like this. So all I can do now is just come back up here and just grab what's inside this if statement and just copy that and simply just paste it in here, okay? So it's still going to do exactly the same thing. And then I can just simply grab this and copy it. Make sure you put it underneath the break. And now I'll change this one to health pack. Like so. And then I'll grab what's inside that statement, and we will replace this with it. Okay, we've got that, and what we need to do also is underneath here we need to do another break, okay? So that closes it off. So once it's run this code, it'll break and it'll automatically go onto the next one, okay? So that's what the break's there for. So it'll check this item tag to see if it's pistol ammo at the moment, and then it will see if it's not pistol ammo, it'll go all the way down here, and then it will break, and then it will check the next one. So sorry, it'll check if it's pistol ammo. If it's not the pistol ammo, it'll automatically just come straight here to check if it's a health pack. And if it was pistol ammo, it'd run this code, and then it would break out of this, and then it would automatically go on to the next one here as well, okay? So that's how it works. And what we need to do now is we want to add another one, because we're going to want a keycard item. So if I copy this, not cut it out, and paste it there, I forgot to take the break again. Make sure the break is underneath it. And instead of health pack for this one, we can say keys, because I'm going to make a new tag called keys, and then I'm just going to get rid of what's in here, and we're all ready to go now to actually set it up for what we want to happen if the tag is keys. So back up here, we need to make sure we call this new method. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of all of this down to here. So we've still got one little curly bracket there. Make sure you don't take that one with it. Just the actual if statement here between this bracket and this closing bracket here. Okay, so get rid of that. And then in here, we can simply call the check item tag. So this is a lot neater. In our update function now, we only have this much code, and it's a lot easier to read, and then we can just put all the stuff we want to have down in this check item method here. Okay, so at the moment this will work exactly the same as it worked before. So now what I want to do is I want to save this, and what we will do is we will make another script. So if you just go to scripts, and then in my doors folder, I'm going to create a new C# script and just call it keys. And then if you open that one up, what we're going to do now is we're going to make an enum. Okay, so what we do is we'll just do both of this just public for the minute. So we'll just do public enum, and we'll call this key type. Okay, and notice how I've actually used a capital or an uppercase letter for this very first letter as well. Usually I have a lowercase, but for an enum like this, I'm going to use capitals. Okay, so key type, and then all you do after that is just do an open and close curly brackets, and then whatever I put in these brackets is going to be the different types of keys that we can use in the game. So just for my demonstration to set it up for you guys, I'm just going to do 3 different types. So I'll just do a blue one, I'll do a black one, and I'll do a red one. Okay, and you guys can have as many as you want. You can just put a comma between each one, and then you can just have as many different types of keys as you would like. And then what we do now is we can just say public. Well, this one actually doesn't need to be public. I can actually just make that an enum, and then this one has to be public though for what I want to do, or you can make it a serialized field. It's up to you. So I can then do a public key type, and I'll call it key type with a lowercase k. Do black red, public key type, key type. Okay, sorry, keep that one public. Okay, so public enum key type, and we've got our 3 different types of keys, and then I'm making an actual reference to this and calling it key type. So this key type here is the one that we store the different types of keys that we're going to have, and this key type here, sorry, this one here is how we actually access all the different types of keys. Okay, it'll make sense in a minute. So what we can do now is, I thought an easy way to do this was, what happens is we look at the key, or we look at an item we want to pick up in the game, and then we press E to pick it up. That's how we pick up the ammo and the health pack, and then we destroy that item. So what I want to do is just do an onDestroy function here. So when this key gets destroyed, then I want to check what type of key it was, so that we can actually we can actually store the right value to say that, you know, we've got the black key, or we've just picked up the blue key, or we've just picked up the red key. So in here we can do a switch statement. It's going to be a bit different last time. So start typing switch like that until it highlights blue here, and then double tab. And now something really cool happens. If we actually change this switch on to key type, like so, and then we come in between the two curly brackets and left click, you'll see that it automatically fills it out for us. And that's really cool. So now we've got them all set up. So we've got our blue, black, and red key, and then we can just basically put in between the case and the break for each one exactly what we want to happen if that is the case. So if this is the blue key, then we want this to happen in here, okay? So I'll just quickly show you something. If we save this, make sure you save the script, and then go back into Unity. And if we quickly whip ourselves up some key cards, you guys can make better ones than this. I'm just doing this for a demonstration. So I'm just going to make a cube. Okay, like so. And I'm going to call this blue. Actually, I'll make sure I press F2 first, and then I'll call this blue key card, okay? Just like that. And I'll resize this. So at the moment it's very high, so I might make this 0.02 like that. That looks about right. And on our X value, if you want to see what's going on, you can just click on the move tool, and you can see we've got our Z running that way and our X is running from back to forward. So we actually want the X value to be about 0.2, 0.3, about 0.3. And then for the Z, we want that to be 0.2-ish. Let's have a look. Okay, so it's a pretty big key card, but I'll leave it like that for now. And because this is going to be an item we can pick up, we need to make sure that we come over here to layer and we choose pickups layer. And we also want to make a new tag for it. So we've currently got our pistol ammo and health pack tags. So we need to make a new tag called keys, because that's what we called it in our script just here. Okay, so it needs to be spelled exactly the same as that. And then select the key card and make sure we actually tag it as keys. And now what we can do is, we probably should add a rigid body as well, okay? And now we can just make sure that you actually left click on the key card and it's highlighted blue, and then Control D, and then Control D again. So we've got 3, okay? So I'll grab the second one here, and I'll just move that one over here, and then I'll grab the third one. Actually, I'm going to do this and put the first one there, the second one there, and then we have the third one over here, okay? And then it's in order. So we need to change the name for the blue one in here and call this black key card. And then for this third one, we can just call this red key card. Okay, so we've got our different key cards, and because we duplicated the first one, they're all set up with the actual keys tag and the pickups layer, as you can see. And now I think I'll just add a color to each one to make sure that they, you know, it's easy to distinguish between them. So I've actually got a materials folder. I made a materials folder to store our bullet hole material. So if you haven't got a materials folder, just right click in your projects folder, go to create and make a new folder and call it materials. And in the materials folder, I'm going to right click, go to create, and I'm going to come to material. And I'm just going to call this one red, and then I'm going to Control D and Control D. So I've got 3 materials. This one I will call blue, and this one I will call black. So now it's just a matter of selecting the material, going up to its albedo color, and just matching the color. Okay, so make that one black, make this one blue, and make this one red. Okay, so then you can simply just match up the colors. You can either just drag the material onto the actual key card like that, or you can just drag the material into the inspector of the actual key card you want, and you're good to go. Okay, blue, black, red, done. So there's our key cards, and now we've got our key cards. Let's actually select all three of these key cards, and we'll just go add component, and then we'll type in keys, because that's what we called the script, and then we can just add that. And now you'll notice, make sure you select only one key card now. We've got blue key card. You'll see here on our key script, it's actually marked as the blue key card. So it knows it's the blue key card, and they're all going to be set to blue by default. So if you go to the black key card, you'll see it says blue. So you just click on this drop down, change it to black, then select the red key card, click on the drop down and select red. So now each of our key cards knows what color it is, okay? And as I said, you guys can have as many as you want. So that's pretty cool. And what we want to do now is we'll go back to our scripts and we'll just create a new script in here. I'm not going to put it in any folder just yet. And I'm going to call it global variables. And all I'm going to use this script for is just to store some static variables. Now, static variables are very handy because you don't have to put this script on anything in the game. It can just stay down here, and we can access any variables we make in here just by typing global variables and then a dot, and then we can just access the variables straight away. The only issue with using static variables like this is if we wanted to have more than one scene in our game, like just say we had excuse me, a different level, a level 2, and we transition to that scene during runtime or during, you know, playing the actual game, the values won't be saved. So just say we had, I'll open this up. It's not going to let me open it because I need to convert these line endings. Okay, so in our global variables, just say that we had a public static bool, and it says has red, actually we'll do blue, has blue key equals false, right? So this is all well and good, but if we accessed this boolean during runtime and we change this to true, if we went to a different scene, it would automatically switch back to being false. It'll switch back to the default way that we had it set. So yeah, static variables are really good, but if you want to save the actual value, if it gets changed and you swap scenes, you'll actually need to save this variable, okay? So you can either save it using player prefs, or how I save is I save to a text file, which is a bit better. So we can actually go into doing that later on as well if you guys would like to save, you know, how much ammo the player has, his health, and you know what keys he actually has and stuff like that. So that's no problem, but we're just going to use this for now. So I'm going to do another one and say public static bool has red key, and that's going to start off equaling false, and then public static bool has black key equals false. Okay, so save that. We'll go back into keys, and now all we can simply say is we know that if this gets destroyed, this key gets destroyed, and in the case that it's the blue key, we know that the player's picked it up, okay, because we destroy it when we pick it up. So we can simply just say now global variables dot has blue key equals true. And then for the black one, we can global variables dot has black key equals true. And then for the red one, global variables dot has red key equals true. And then make sure you save that as well. So now we'll be able to keep track of what key the player has picked up, okay? So we've got that, and now what we need to do, if we go into our pickup, I'll just have a quick look. And we've got methods here for when we pick up health and when we pick up pistol ammo. So I'll just do one here and say void pick up keys. And in here, we'll need to make sure that we actually destroy it. So we can just say destroy hit dot transform dot game object. So it's actually going to destroy the game object, which will be the key, but we need to make sure that, I'll cut this out, we need to make sure that we actually have some type of input, like we press E. So input dot get key down keycode dot E, and then paste it in there. And also I'll just copy this because I have got a sound for picking up the key as well. I'll show you guys that in a minute, and I'll just say pick up key, and we can play that before we destroy it. So I just want to check the health one for a minute. Okay, so I'll just say bloody hell, what was it again? What was the pickup audio source? There we go. Makes sense. So pickup audio source dot play one shot, and it was the pickup key audio clip. Okay, and then we'll just come down here and we'll call that method pickup keys. Make sure we save that. So now when we actually pick up the key, it's going to play a sound and then it's going to actually destroy it. So first of all, we need to make sure we add our sound. So if we go back to our game, it's on the player, I believe, pickup script, yes, and we need this pickup key. So if I just click on this little round thing here, we have one called item pickup, okay? So add that one. I'll just apply the prefab. So that's sorted out, and now all we need to do is we need to make sure that the door can actually recognize what type of key that it takes. So if we go to doors, door trigger, this is the one the player uses, the enemy uses the ray. So in here we can just do another enum. So I'll just do public enum, and I'll call it lock type, and we'll just have the same blue, black, red, and then we can just say public lock type and then lock type with a lowercase l. And now we'll need, we check when we are inside the trigger, we check that the door's not locked and it's not already open, and if that is the case, then we actually open the door. If not, then we check if it's open already, and if it's open already, then we know we can shut it. And then I've just got the else, and we know the door's locked, but we'll make this a bit different, and we'll need to add something in here. So we can just say, come down here and do void check lock type. And in here, we'll do another switch. So type out until you get switch, double tab, and then in here, we will have lock type. And then if we click down here, we'll get them all straight away. And so what do we actually want to do here? We want to make sure that we'll do else if. This time it has to be locked and it can't be open, so is open. So the door is not locked and the door is locked and it's not open. Then we'll do that. And in here, all we'll do is we'll just check. All we have to do is check our global variables and check these Boolean values and see if they are false or true. So if this is the blue door, we mark this one as the blue door, and this Boolean is true, it says we have the blue key, then we know that we can actually open the door. So we'll just say if global variables dot has blue key, which is, as you guys know, it's exactly the same as writing global variables dot has blue key equals true. This is just a shorthand way of saying that this Boolean is true. So if that's the case, we can open the door. So I suppose we just call this method we made open door. But yeah, let's just do that for now. Open door. And then I'll simply copy this and go to the black one, paste it in there, and then I'll just change this to black key. And then we'll just do the same for red. Change it to red key. Make sure you save that. And we'll need to call this we'll need to check lock type in here. I kind of planned out how I was going to do this in my head, but I haven't tested this, guys, okay? So just bear with me a little bit. I'm just trying to work out exactly how we're going to do it. It should be getting close to what we want. So yeah, we're going to check the lock type there, and then if we've got the right key, we're going to be able to open the door. The only problem is we don't want the door to automatically open. We only want it to open if we, yeah. So cut this out and we'll do if input dot get key down keycode dot e, and then paste it in there. And if we've unlocked the door, I suppose we need to make sure that, yeah, we have an is locked boolean, so it'll no longer be locked once we've unlocked it. So we need to make sure that we say is locked equals false, okay? Because once it's unlocked, it's unlocked. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee. Okay. So save that. And now, yeah, we should be right, I think. We'll have a look. So go back into Unity. I just want to, first of all, I want to get rid of this enemy. I'll just set him inactive. And I also want to set the door trigger. Where is it? The spawn trigger. I'm going to set that inactive as well. So the zombies don't spawn when I go up to this door, because as you guys know from the last one, the zombies can automatically just open doors as it is, and they won't know what to do. Like, they'll come up, and even if the door's locked, they'll still they'll still open it, and we don't actually want that just yet. We need to work out what we're going to do with our enemies. So just say the enemy comes up to a locked door, we're going to need to make it so that the zombie can recognize that the door's locked, and maybe he goes off and starts patrolling some different area or something like that. We can set something up like that. If we had an idle state for our zombie, we could just make him stand there idle until he saw the player or something like that, but we don't have one. So I might look into getting a different enemy, or having more different types of enemies and stuff like that later on. But for now, let's just get this sorted out. So I've disabled the spawn trigger, and I've set the enemy inactive. I'm just going to save my project and scene. So I think we should be all good. Let's go have a look anyway, see what happens. Okay, so we go up here, red key card, black key card, blue key card. Okay, that's a good start. And oh, hang on a second, we haven't set up the actual door to know what kind of door it is, have we? So if we go to the sliding doors here, you'll notice on the door trigger script, it's actually got this public boolean is locked. And if we select this, now the door knows it's locked, and the lock type is currently on blue. So we can change it to whatever lock type we want. So this is a blue one. It's going to need the blue key card. Okay, so let's have a look and see if we can break the code. So let's pick up the black one. Okay, there we go, we got our sound. We'll go to the door. It says door's locked. Okay, why could we open it? Because I know why. If we go to our door trigger, I think I set it, yeah. So when we press E, I've just automatically unlocked the door. Okay. That's stupid. Let's just put it in here. So just like that. Sorry, this is a bit of a messy way to do it, but just for now, just to get it all working, we'll only unlock it if we actually have the correct key, which makes sense. Okay, let's try again. So go back in there, and I'll get the black key. Okay, go up to the door. Okay, I'm pressing E like crazy, nothing's happening, we can't unlock it. I'll get the red key card. We'll go up to the door, pressing E, I can't unlock it. I'll go get the blue key card, which should be the one that we want. Okie dokie, and there we go. So obviously you could add some aesthetics to the door. We could have a key card reader or something like that, or a light that starts off red and then goes green when we unlock it, or something like that. But for now, guys, that is well and truly going to do for this tutorial. I hope it wasn't too much for some of you guys, and yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys got some type of benefit from what we did. Okay, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.